mixing of worlds, if you will, a little bit of twist with this panel. So without further ado, I'm going to bring out our guest. Please welcome, he was the voice of Uncle Iroh, Greg Baldwin. Yes. There you go, Greg. Have a seat right there. Michaela Jill Murphy, she voiced Toph in the animated series. And we have not one but two Aangs here today. The first old school, Zach Tyler Eisen. Please welcome him to the animated series. And for any of you who were here last year, we presented the live action Netflix version of Avatar The Last Airbender. It was an incredible panel. We had the entire cast here, and you know him, you love him. The man, the boy who plays Aang, Gordon Cormier. Come on up, buddy. There he is. All right, now guys, we're gonna do something very special. We're gonna do a selfie right off the top. So, cast, if we can get you to stand up. And we'll get our photographers on stage. And everyone, stand up. I want to hear your loudest cheers. Everybody applaud.
Go
Let's hear it
Airbender!
for Avatar The Last Airbender. There you go. Get in there. That's what we like to see.
Go Melon Lord!
Keep that energy going. All right, thanks a lot. All right, Greg, we can share a mic, and then everyone else has their own, and we'll just sort of ask some questions first, and then we'll throw it out to the audience. And you, I'm sure, all know the drill. Just respectfully line up at the microphones there once we open it up to the questions, and we'll kind of go back and forth on either side. I want to start with you, Greg. I believe, is this your first time in Canada?
Yes, it is. It is my first time in Canada, but not my last. I will be seeking a political asylum here in a couple of years. So, you know, I'd like to say hello to my new neighbors. Thank you.
And I believe that you posted yesterday that it was 20 years ago yesterday that Avatar The Last Airbender premiered. Isn't that amazing? And then we're all here this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, people asked us if we knew at the time that the show was going to do this, and how could we? You know, it was a great show, but we had to go get another job. You know, that's an actor's job. The fact that 20 years later it has become this huge thing is miraculous, absolutely miraculous. And I think it's because Avatar and the entire franchise is sort of this point of light in an increasingly dark world that I think people are reaching for, and I think that explains some of its success.
Yeah, we've seen that with the how it's stood the test of time. It's connected with so many people around the world with its themes, its characters. Zach, let's go to you because you were a mere child when you first voiced Aang. Tell us about how you got that role, and there's no way you could have anticipated how big this whole enterprise was going to be then.
Oh, absolutely not. And you know, just real quick, just in the interest of inclusivity, 20 is an age that can turn one day. All right, just so we're clear on that. 20, you're not quite there yet. You'll make it. Yeah, no, I never could have predicted that we would be here 20 years later on the anniversary, which makes it even more special.
Yeah,
we're just so lucky to have been a part of this incredible franchise. It's really changed our lives and for the better. And from what I hear from you guys, it's done the same. And it's just really an honor to be a part of it.
and Michaela, did you originally start out voicing a different character and then it sort of changed and you became a recurring character as Toph? Like, how did your journey start on the show?
Sounds like you know something. Interesting. Yes, I did. I started off, if we all remember in season 1, the fortune teller episode, there's a little girl named Mang who has kind of a crush on Aang and calls Katara a floozy. And that, apparently I'm cast as females who have beef with Katara. That's just how it goes. But yeah, she was my first role in Avatar, and at that time, they were kind of discussing making Toph a girl, because initially she was supposed to kind of be like a Bolin, kind of bro-y teenager. And they were like, hey, what about this idea? And they were kind of playing with it, and I came in and did my lines for Meg, and they were like, hey, we should have her audition for Toph. That might be what we're looking for. And then here we are. So yes, I was Meg, and then Toph, and then I actually came back and voiced young Su-Yin in Korra. So I played my own daughter for a quick little flashback episode in Korra. So that was kind of weird.
Shout out to Korra.
Yeah. So that was, popped up in 3 places.
And Gordon, man, I remember last year you coming up on the stage and just like Eyes as big as saucers. This was all new to you. I don't think you'd even done one of these. And you were starting your journey. I mean, you had obviously shot everything, and we were getting ready for the premiere. But what has the year been like? You know, and the fans embracing you playing Aang, and just the fact that there is now a live action series of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Take us through the last year.
I mean, this last year has been insane. I mean, I love you all. Like, it's been so awesome. My life has been slightly different. I mean, I get recognized a lot more often than I used to.
Yeah.
But I love meeting people. I love meeting you guys. I'm excited to be here, and it's just so cool that we got to do like a live action of such an amazing animated series. Like you said, it withstood the test of time, and that's just so, it's just so cool. It's so cool, dude. Like, I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. That's just awesome.
Well, you're in good company here. Greg, let's get back to you, because you actually kind of started in theater. So, you know, you have not to say like a legitimate acting background, but tell us about how you made that foray into voiceover work and creating these characters for animated properties like this.
Well, you know, the reason that I'm lucky enough to be up here, oddly enough, is because of theater, is because of Stephen Sondheim. Which is, you have any Sondheim fans out there? All right, yeah, my people. Anyway, I knew from a very early age that I wanted to be an actor. And so all I would want for Christmas or my birthday were record albums from Broadway shows that were popular at the time. And on my 17th birthday in 1977, I got an album from a show called Pacific Overtures. It's written by Stephen Sondheim, and it starred an actor named Mako, who was later nominated for a Tony for his role. And this very quickly became my all-time favorite musical. I could sing the entire score for you right now. I do it that well. In fact, I will. So sit back. It's going to be a while.
Do it.
The floating kingdom. No, I won't do it all. But I would sing along again and again with the record album, not realizing that I was actually learning to do an impression of Mako. So that when he sadly passed away in 2006, I'm like, oh, I know how to do that voice. I've been doing it for a while. And the cool little coda to the whole story is, I wrote a letter to Stephen Sondheim before he died because I didn't think he would ever see it. I just sent it to his agent saying, you know, sir, there is a lyric in Pacific Overtures called "It's the Ripple, Not the Sea." And I said, well, I am one of those ripples. You don't even know I exist, but because you wrote the show and because Mako was in the show, I had this life now that I did not dream of, you know. And so I sent it off into the universe thinking, okay, I feel good that I've done that. And about 3 weeks later, Mr. Sondheim wrote me back.
No.
And he said, it said this very simple little card. He said, thank you so much for your kind words. I'm glad the show had such a salubrious effect on your life. And I'm going, did Stephen Sondheim just diss me? What's going on here?
I gotta look that up.
I go into the dictionary and it means, you know, a good thing. And I'm going, man, only Stephen Sondheim would use a word like salubrious, so it's got to be him.
Yeah.
So that is the tale of how I end up being on this stage now.
And is that letter framed on a mantle somewhere?
Yeah, it is indeed. It is. The cool thing about the record album is not only, is it a very important, but I later, many years ago, was a room service waiter in Houston. And Hal Prince and Stephen Sondheim were staying in the hotel. I served them breakfast and got them to sign. Many years, this was like in the early 80s.
Yeah.
So it's signed by Hal Prince and Stephen Sondheim as well. So
Incredible.
yeah, it's kind of cool. It's definitely on my wall.
Yeah, you won't see those on eBay. But we
No,
do.
absolutely not.
We do love eBay. Let's go over to Zach for a second, because how old were you when this all started?
I was cast at 11, I believe.
Okay, 11.
Yeah.
And the way you recorded a lot of the lines, or all of them, like it was remote, right? Like you were doing it because you couldn't travel because you were so young. Tell us about that.
So yeah, I had like a very different experience in the booth than a lot of people, and from the entire rest of the cast. So most actors in general are based in LA. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New York, and so I did most of my recording on the East Coast, which meant that I was alone, whereas the rest of the cast would do their scenes together and they'd be able to play off each other. But I was like completely isolated. I only really met everybody at the premiere party after we had already recorded season 1. Didn't see them again until the wrap party, and then didn't see them again until C2E2 in 2022. Yeah. So it was definitely a very different experience. I had to rely pretty heavily on our voice director Andre Romano, who's a legend in the industry. So it was definitely different. But you know what? That's just what I knew as a kid. It was never Yeah, I didn't have the other real experience. I had worked with other actors here and there, but that was kind of just how it was done on the East Coast, and yeah, so what I was used to.
Very cool. Michaela, let's talk about Toph and the character arc, because it's kind of subtle in many ways, and I've heard this from fans of the show that say some people argue that, you know, she was always the same brash character, and others say that, like, no, she kind of found a way to open up and be able to ask for help. What's the character's arc in your mind, looking back like 20 years later since the show premiered?
Yeah, the great thing, which I think we all are recognizing now, is that every time you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, you kind of pick up on something new. There's like a new nuance, or you have a fresh perspective, or just a different perspective completely on stuff that you thought you remembered from the show. And definitely looking back at Toph, I see lots of parts of me my own weight. It's like, girl, you need your friends. It's like, it's okay, they're not gonna hurt you. So I definitely see her growth, you know, from literally the very first intro episode of Blind Bandit, where she's just so aggressive, she's so closed off, she's just fighting it. And then by the end of just that episode even, she's like, oh, I'm just gonna run away from home, no big deal. I'm just gonna leave and go join the Avatar. So right there, you can kind of see she's craving that break, even though she's so like resistant to it. And so she's constantly, I think, at war with herself, especially at the beginning. And I mean, we kind of see an interesting version. Some people don't agree with the Korra arc of like being head of like police academy. They're like, that doesn't make any sense. She likes to break rules. And it's like, well, at a certain point you get tired of people telling you what to do, so you become in charge and tell other people what to do. So that's kind of what I imagined happened. But I do think by the end of the show, I mean, she does, I think, have the last line. And
Can't say too much, but you know, we are in the middle of the live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This thing keeps going. So what can you tell fans for what's in store next?
I mean, we're actually shooting it right now, so
You're all in it.
yeah,
right this second.
it is getting excited. I mean, you guys know, obviously, I can't say too much, but the scripts are insane. The writing is awesome. I feel like all of our acting has gotten better, and it's just season 2, so obviously it's got to live up to the hype. So we're definitely pushing, and it is going to be so cool when it comes out. I'm excited to watch it for myself.
So new storylines, new characters, a lot of the sort of classic imagery,
Yeah,
live action treatment.
Yeah, we have a Toph now. We have Mia.
Yeah.
Mia Check. Yeah, she's awesome. I think you actually like bought her a ticket to come hang out, right?
Yeah, I finally am going to meet her this week, and it was perfect. I was like, I'm gonna be in Vancouver. Can I meet Toph? So I'm hopefully gonna see her for a little bit today. So
Yeah, I mean, she is so excited to meet you. It's really awesome, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity, especially getting 2 and 3 back to back. Like, that's the craziest part, because I mean, I'm growing. They kind of have to do this quick. If,
what do you
like,
mean? Your
season,
face is the exact same as when you started, right?
Taking the journey.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'd be hilarious if, like, season 3, Aang was just taller than Ozai, and I was like,
Got a mustache.
yeah, I know. I'm like, what's up, Fire Lord? But no, hopefully this coffee keeps working and I just don't grow.
Yeah, just keep stunting over there. That's good.
That's the plan.
Okay,
Sure.
good stuff.
But then after the show finishes, I want to grow a little bit.
Boom. Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'd really appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, it's time for questions from the audience.
Must always strain, and others have an easy time. Some are naturally big and strong, and others will always be small. Some will be protected and nurtured, and others will meet with destruction. The master accepts things as they are, and out of compassion avoids extravagance, excess, and the extremes.
Thank you so much.
Don't read, baby.
Starting with meditation this fine sound.
What's up, either? Look at that.
You did the voice professionally or something. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, we'll take a question on this side. Go ahead, your name and your question.
Hi, I'm Laura. My question is, the show has reached an impact on people all ages, for many generations, I guess now. And I was wondering if
But I think that that's such a in day-to-day life, like when you're feeling angry, when you're so frustrated, and then on a bigger level, in the current state of whatever the heck is happening around the world right now, it's just something I keep returning to. Of like, you can be so incredibly powerful and find a solution that does not harm as much. And so that's something that's been on my mind a lot recently.
Yeah, and just to go off of that, it's like staying true to yourself, and your values, and even taking that a step further, this is something that our colleague Jack Senna, who voiced soccer, likes to say. It's like, be the non-bender in the room is a lesson that he is learning in soccer. I really
He
like
has
that.
to say that.
It's true, because it's like, just because you don't have, this ability, in this case it's bending, there's still something that makes you you, and lean into that, and be yourself. There's just so many lessons in the show. That's just one of the many. We touched on it a little bit before, like, the more you watch it, and you watch it, as a kid and then later as an adult, it relates to a different character and learn a new lesson. So that's just that whole aspect.
My last thing, I'm just kind of recovering from it. I was just going to let you guys take it.
Thanks for your question.
Yeah, great question. Okay, over here, go ahead.
Hi there, my name is Charlie, and I was wondering if you guys had a favorite line from your characters, and if you guys could do it out loud for us right now.
Mr. Cormier.
All right, let me think. Does it have to be specifically from my series though, or can I steal one?
Still, do whatever. It's our series, man. Come on. Aw.
Well, I never really got to do the classic line from the animated series where you go penguin sledding.
Go for it.
Give it a shot, careful.
I forgot, wait, my voice dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, I know. Say, tell me about it.
I believe in you.
Well, you go penguin sledding.
Yay!
That's also one of my favorites. I was gonna say, you're the only one of us that has to memorize these lines. We were just reading it off paper. So.
I didn't know you didn't have to memorize for voiceovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or reverse.
You have to make it sound like you're not reading off the script.
For, I think it was Ready, Jet, Go, because I used to watch the TV series, and I showed up there, and they said that you didn't need to have the lines memorized, so it was awesome. I was just reading, and it was so cool.
Did you actually memorize the lines? And you're like, wait a minute, I did all this homework for nothing.
No, I don't know how prepared I would have been.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as you in the fact that I can't really do the original Ang voice, and I hate to admit that, but puberty does happen. Our voices change. It's funny what you're saying before. People told me that you can hear a difference in my voice from season 1 to season 3 Ang. The show really only takes. The show takes place over the course of 2 months. It's like summer, but for us it was 3.5 years. So things happen. But in terms of the line, flip me up, Hodman.
I really like the episode of the library.
Oh, I love that one.
And that's when we start to see, kind of what sort of shenanigans we're going to be getting with Toph when they're on Ava looking for the library. And she's like, look, there it is. That's what it'll sound like when one of you spots it.
I love that line.
Everybody has a favorite Ira comfort line. Go back to when you're having a bad day. And for me, it's actually from Korra. And just a brief story, I do that sometimes.
I think I know what it is.
We had just moved to New Mexico. I've been living in California for 30 years. COVID hit 2 weeks later. So we were sort of freaking out. I was like, oh, I got kids on the left coast and I'm on the right coast. What have we done? There's no toilet paper. We're all going to die. And I could hear a flock of birds passing over singing. And I very clearly heard this line from Korra in my head. If you look for the light, you will often find it. If you look for the dark, that is all you will ever see. And
I love that quote.
That is my own Iro comfort line. I'm having a bad day.
I always quote it, when you look for the light, you can often find it.
Thanks. Yes, over here, go ahead.
Hello, my name's Cody. This is for Michaela. I could be wrong. Honestly, I don't know everyone's name.
Yes,
That is correct. You got it right on.
I thought it was Michael A.
Michael A.
Listen.
It's funny that you bring up the library episode because I was literally just going to ask you, in the show they fun of talks blindness a lot, and I was gonna ask what your favorite scene was. I'm assuming that's it. That is first. That.
Well, that's my favorite episode, but my favorite scene might actually be probably like one of her few moments of gentleness in Tales of Bossing Say, which is with Katara. And you know, they go to the spa, they have a laugh, and then the girls are mean and kind of make fun of her. And then she and Katara get to have this little kind of girlhood heart-to-heart moment. And I feel like Toph did not get any of that from her family. It's very kind of cold, rules, strict, whatever. And usually she's just fighting for her life and needs to be tough. And so I really love that little moment because I feel like everyone, she might not care fully, like it let it affect her, how people perceive her, but everyone is aware that they're being perceived and you want to be well received and perceived, and so you kind of see her be like, I don't care what I look like, I know who I am, and she's like crying, and you're like, okay girl. So I just am grateful that we got to have that little thing because I love that she's a badass, we all love that she's a badass, but you know, it's nice to see that she does
It's like
have those
bad like live action, but it's just like fun for her.
What does pretty even mean? And Tara kind of helps in that moment. So I really like that scene.
I like the scene, like you said, it's like when she wakes up in front of her face, all of that, and when she metal bends out of the metal box.
I'm the greatest airbender in the world. Don't you two dunderheads ever forget it.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Yes, over here, go ahead for our cast.
Hi, my name is Griffin. Question is for Greg. I've been a fan of your work both in Avatar and in video games, in particular Bethesda titles like Fallout and Elder Scrolls. I was wondering, with the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, you're credited as multiple additional voices. Do you perhaps remember what characters or lines you had?
I'm 64 years old. I wish I could. I mean, sometimes I don't even remember what city I'm in, you know. So I wish I could remember Sunny Boy, but no, my brain's not as sharp as it used to be.
Good effort. Over here, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Jess. If you got to create an avatar-style hybrid animal in real life, what would you guys create? Like from your own perspectives.
They already did this on Nickelodeon. Cat dogs. I don't remember cat dogs. Honestly, I love that question.
I don't know how it would work, but I like geese and I like horses, so I don't know. I guess that's kind
Geese,
of
horse.
but I want the face
Goose,
to
horse.
like be a goose, I think.
Cobra chicken.
Yeah, just
Cobra chicken.
Yeah, I don't really know, but some sort of, yeah.
She's like,
Horus, honk, honk. I don't know.
God, sounds like a nightmare.
I mean, I know it's already from the animated series, but dude, I really want a turtle duck. Like,
Yes!
I really want a pet turtle duck. That's so awesome.
A flying dog. You know, a bird crossed with a dog.
A winged dog.
Yes, it would be,
Okay, sure.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Good answers. I love those.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Over here, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Kai. I'm a journalist from BCIT, and I also grew up watching the show. I wanted to congratulate you all because yesterday was actually the 20th anniversary for the premiere of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah!
So my question is for all of you. How do you all feel continuing to influence the lives of people, even 2 decades after the release of the show?
Goodness
That's
gracious.
a big one.
Yeah, it's a bit. We'll try to go. We know there's lots of you have questions. We'll try to keep it quick. It's pretty surreal, just as like a person having a great impact on people. But as a performer, you always hope that your art is well received. And this had kind of. It was an immediate effect, but it also like a delayed effect for us receiving it. I guess like people liked the show and were watching it early on, but when this came out, there wasn't really social media. Like the first iPhone came out in 2008, I think. So Reddit really wasn't a thing yet, and Instagram wasn't a thing. There weren't all these like themed pages where fans could like group together, and so it just wasn't as easily accessible to know that you guys were watching the show and liking it. And so I think it just feels pretty cool, I guess, to be honest. And then now I feel like I'm able to appreciate way more of the show and relate to a lot of you guys who grew up with it and also appreciate it in many different ways. ways. Because I feel like if I would have known how popular it was at 12 or 13, it's just different life experience. And now so many of the maybe heavier, darker topics are hitting a little harder. And so I think I can just appreciate the show and like its bigger scope, I suppose. But it's really freaking cool. And it's cool that we can all just be here like nerding out together about Avatar.
Totally.
I've been blown away by how iRow makes everyone a better version of themselves. If we're talking to people, people will cry. It happens a lot. Sometimes I will cry with them. And I take the power of this role rather seriously because I think everybody, I've never run across anyone that does not like Uncle iRow, no one. And I think there's a universality to it. And I think it's because iRow, no one is ambivalent about their father. You really can't be. And I think iRow represents either the father that you were lucky enough to have or the father that you desperately wanted. And I think that is a big a burden sometimes. I take it very, very seriously, just as I take, honoring my predecessor seriously. But it has just been literally one of the greatest blessings in my life to voice this character, be one of the voices of this character that means so much to so many people around the world. I was talking to my wife at one point, and I said, I think it's funny that, there's this famous uncle character, and I have literally just one nephew in all the world. And my wife said, it's one of the nicest things she ever said to me. She said, Greg, you have millions of nieces and nephews. And it's a little weird, but I'm kind of starting to come to feel that way. So, my nieces and nephews.
And Gordon, how about for you, just taking up the mantle now and continuing this tradition and building a new fan base, but also continuing on with it?
Yeah, I mean, when I first booked the role, I honestly didn't even know what the animated series was because I was 12, and this animated series did come out a long time ago, but when I found out what I was working on, I decided to watch it on Netflix, and then I watched it again, and again, and again, and then I think the exact number is 26 times. So
That's a lot.
I'm somewhat, yeah, I had a little obsession with the show for a little bit, but now, yeah, I know, it's crazy. I even collect the Funko Pops and stuff. But
that is cool.
It's so cool to be able to bring this to another generation too. I mean, I have little kids come up to my booth and tell me about it, and then tell me about how they watched the animated series after they watched this, and it's so awesome to be able to bring or use my show to bring this show to new youth. It's just so amazing.
We're so grateful for you, man. You're doing a great job, Karen.
You're killing it.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's enough. You're about that juggling now.
Okay, we'll take one from over here, and then probably just time for one more after.
Okay, so I have a question for the whole cast. Well, my name's Marissa. Anyways, have you guys seen this Avatar: The Last Airbender recap? It's called Every Episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 1 by this YouTuber named Anthony Poe. And basically, it's just like a college student, and they're reenacting all of the scenes from episode 1, book 1, and it's funny. It's low budget, but it's funny.
I have not. But
You should watch it, it's just funny. The way how the guy who plays Aang, he literally shaved his head and he's playing everyone, even the guy in the intro.
He's coming for your job.
Oh no,
I'm scared.
No, it's just a college student, just having fun with his friends. And then
awesome.
it's funny. And for Suki, they just had a mask and an electric fan. Or my favorite, so he dressed up as Appa. He's just pretending to be the animal on the ground. It's just hilarious. Or my favorite is when Zuko is it's like I said, low budget. But that's funny. It's funny. It's funny.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. We have one more.